Pearson, host of Star Time, and this is my real voice. Honest, you're hearing it on Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Should have told her you were sorry.
Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities,
And this is what they had to say.
To me, generational wealth means access to joy. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it can buy a lot of things that make it easier. I find that when your basic needs are met, it's a lot easier to work on other things. Like even for myself as an artist, like I'm not the best creative, I'm not the best artist when my basic needs aren't being met, and not having to worry about that for yourself, but also for the people closest to you, like your loved ones. To me, that's the beauty of generational wealth. To me, generational wealth is community. It's being able to talk to people and figure out what they need and help them. I feel like especially in Seattle,
this campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Different rules apply when it gets this late, you know what I mean? It's like after hours.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
Hello, I'm an unpaid spokesman for DJ Sotovaci. I'd like to invite you to listen to his free-form music show. It's popular music the way it was never intended to be heard. Whatever gets you through the night, late nights, here on Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Oh, no. Whatever gets you through the night.
Hey, this is Paul Pearson. I've hosted the R&B show Star Time since the very beginning of Rainier Avenue Radio, and after years of featuring tracks from the 50s through the 80s, Star Time now plays R&B and hip-hop from the 1990s as well. A whole half century of soul, funk, hip-hop, and more on Star Time, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Join the Black-owned Business Excellence for our annual symposium on Wednesday, February 1st, 2023 at the University of Washington, Tacoma, and online. With an amazing lineup of speakers, the symposium provides tools and resources to empower entrepreneurs and business owners with a focus on legacy building. The cost is $15 for in-person and free for the virtual symposium. So join us on Wednesday, February 1st at the Black-owned Business Excellence Symposium.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenue.world.
It's 7 o'clock on the dot. This is the spot, and this is LidLine Sports. Let's go! Welcome to LidLine Sports, everybody. Thank you for listening to us here. O is absent today because he is coaching the Cleveland High School along with his brother, the head coach, at Ingram High School tonight. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah. And I got my man, Michael Carter, here filling in. I am Peppy Bean and hope everybody had a great weekend. We've had two great NFL weekends, right? I mean,
yes, we did.
The super wild card weekend last week. And then this week, of course, we had the divisional playoffs. How did your predictions go? We, as Michael Carter and I, both went 4-0 this weekend, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And I went 3-1 last weekend. Thank you, Tampa, for messing that up. But before we get into the NFL, because we got plenty to do there, we also want to talk about Breanna Stewart in a little bit. But first, I want to start off with the Seattle Kraken. I want to give them some love. The Kraken, for those that don't know, are an NHL team here in Seattle, Washington. This is their second year of existence. And right now they are, I believe, in second place in the Pacific.
They are.
And of course, which is pretty amazing since, like I said, they just started last year. And well, you know, and as an expansion team, they didn't do so well last year, but you know, that's okay. That's what happens. But this year, my goodness, they've turned things from man, they've done a 180.
Yeah, they were in first place, but then they lost in Vegas. It's weird in the NHL how they go by a point system. They have the scores. I mean the how many wins and losses,
right?
But they are emphasized mostly on their points. So right now the Kraken have 59 points and the Vegas has 60.
Okay. So does it work like soccer, like you get 3 points for a win or something like that?
Correct.
And I know you get points for also being in overtime as well.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So yeah.
Very similar.
So the Kraken right now are in second place behind the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, when the Vegas Golden Knights joined the NHL, they went to the NHL Stanley Cup their first season.
Yes.
Which is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
You know, we can't the Kraken had, couldn't do that. But what they're doing now is pretty doggone good. They had a historic road trip a couple of weeks ago where they went on the road for 7 straight games and won all 7.
So just let me hit on something.
Sure.
So they're doing really good on the road. They're 16-5-2 on their road, right?
Man.
But their home record is 11-9-3. So they're not. It's like they go on the road, they give it their all, and then they come back home, and for some odd reason they sputter. But I think this they're gonna pick it up. They've been humping it, so they need a rest,
right?
And they have a rest. They got a rest today,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they play the Canucks on Wednesday.
Okay,
so they'll be able to recharge their batteries and do their thing.
Yeah, they lost a tough one Saturday, 2-1 to the defending champion Avalanche in a shootout. So the Kraken, they're not getting blown out, right?
Nope.
And they're actually blowing out a lot of teams because I've seen a lot of 8-1, 8-4, 7-3 games that they've won.
Yes.
So, man, it's exciting because
Even when they're down, though, I've seen
Right.
games they've been down.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, it's tied. And the next thing you know, they're up. And the next thing you know, they've won. And it's like, these boys ain't, man.
Yeah.
They're not joking.
Nope. So that 7-game road trip is pretty historic, folks, because they're the only team in the NHL history that have went on a road trip and won 7 straight. Now, there's teams that have done 6 in a row, right?
Yes.
But 7-game road trips are very rare in the NHL. So the fact that they did that is unprecedented
Phenomenal.
so far. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
So we just want to give a quick shout out and give some love to the Seattle Kraken, and let's hope they can keep it up.
Their rookie is killing.
Who's that?
Maddie Beaner?
Beniers.
Or Beniers?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was Beaner, but he's got 17 goals.
Oh,
he's a rookie.
Yes.
It's like, and then Jared.
We got in 10 games last year. So, you know, baseball and soccer, NHL is kind of a little different than NBA.
Right.
Is how they do their rookies. But he got in a quick 10 games and actually made some difference.
He's the second leading scorer for the Kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 17, and then you got Jared McMahon with 22.
Yeah, he had a hat trick last week.
Exactly.
So yep. So, let's hope. Let's look. When's the last time the Seahawks, Mariners, and another team all got in the playoffs at the same time? Now we know the Sounders and the Storm are usually in the playoffs.
Right.
And it's funny because the Sounders did not make the playoffs this past season. So, that's kind of
that was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we were so used to it and we've been spoiled
right
with the Sounders, that is.
And the Storm did, of course. So
yeah.
So now if the Kraken can join them, which it looks like they will, man, that's pretty phenomenal and very encouraging for the city of Seattle.
It is.
As far as their teams.
Yeah.
But we spoke about the Storm. Stewie, Brianna Stewart is a unrestricted free agent, and she is entertaining offers from the Storm, the Mystics, the Liberty, and the Minnesota Lynx in talks with trying to woo her and sway her to leave Seattle.
Yeah, and
join them.
It's not a money thing either. You know what it is?
What is it?
They're not building around her. They're not giving her the weapons she needs, and she knows. Every professional player knows their longevity is not forever.
It seems like every other day I hear that the Sparks have gotten a new player or made a trade.
Bam.
What is the Storm doing?
My point exactly.
Are they standing pat? I mean, look.
I'm telling you right now, if they don't get a key player to help Stewie out, she's going to go. And so that's why she's waiting right now. She's in silent mode and she's waiting. But if they don't get her a key player to help her out.
Well, that's part of what the pitch is all about. I'm thinking, because if you're talking to your own team, of course, and then you're going to talk to other teams, you're going to find out what their plan is.
Right.
So they're going to have to tell her specific, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is who we're going to get or try and get, whatever. So, of course, we know Jewel Lloyd is still here.
Correct.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that the Storm, they don't have good players.
Right.
They just don't have that.
Well, if they want to compete with Vegas,
right.
LA,
right.
Phoenix, because Phoenix is getting Griner back.
Right. Because when Stewie goes to the bench, or, not sits the bench, but goes to the bench or takes a break, you see that drop off. And so they need to have that other key player that will allow them not to drop off, and she can get her rest and come back in, and she doesn't have to overexert herself just for them to win.
And plus they got to get a good player in the draft too. I'm not sure where they will pick this year.
Right.
But they're definitely going to have to need.
They'll trade down. No.
You channeling their inner Seahawk, are you saying?
Yeah. That was a jokey joke.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the NFL playoffs, right?
Okay.
So, man, so the divisional round last week, we know the Seahawks got beat by the 49ers. Those games back then, 2 weeks ago, weren't very surprising, right? Everybody won that we thought we would win, except for Tampa let me down.
Me too.
But that's more of hope, right?
Right.
Because everybody knows I can't stand the Cowboys. Sorry, Anthony, Vince.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So so I'm always going to root against them, even against the 49ers. I rooted for the Niners to win yesterday. But before we get into that game, let's go chronologically. Let's go with the Jacksonville Kansas City game first. On Saturday, Kansas City defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-20 in a pretty decent game. It wasn't a blowout, right? Jacksonville said, "Look, we're coming here to play."
Right.
They put some pressure on Mahomes.
They went toe to toe.
Yeah, and you got to think about this. Mahomes had to make some incredible passes to beat this team.
He had to be the top A game,
right?
Mahomes.
And even when he got hurt, he was mad. He got hurt. He was throwing stuff. Chad Henne brought from the 2-yard line down, took him down 98 yards for a touchdown. So Chad Henne's experienced quarterback. He's been there quite a while.
Right.
He's been there probably like 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. As long as Mahomes has been there, he's been the backup. But I'm going to give credit to Jacksonville because they gave him a good run.
Yeah, they didn't lay down.
They didn't lay down, and so Jacksonville is going to be should be a strong team next year. So they're going to keep moving up.
Oh yeah, with that taste in their mouth and how well they played in the playoffs,
right?
They're going to be a team to reckon with next year.
And Kansas City, they are going to be in some kind of problem this coming weekend. Before we get into Cincinnati and Buffalo, I just want to say that Mahomes has a high ankle sprain.
Yes.
And for those that might not be aware, high ankle sprains are probably the worst of the ankle sprains that you could have. If you have a lower ankle sprain, you recover much faster than you do when you have a high ankle sprain. High ankle sprains, from what I've noticed, some cats are out 6 to 8 weeks minimum. And a lot are out a lot longer than that. I've seen players out half the season because they have a high ankle sprain. Miss 8, 9, 10 games. That's a long time.
It is.
Especially with a bye in there. And you're still not 100.
No.
You still worry about it. You still feel it.
He won't be 100. He won't be 100%.
Definitely not. If I were Kansas City, I would treat Mahomes all through the week. I'd give the appearance that I'd still have everybody thinking, oh, he's going to come. But behind the scenes and in the locker room, I'm getting Chad Henne ready.
Right. I
right?
agree. I
I'm
agree.
getting him ready.
I
I'm saying,
agree.
look, man, this is why you're here.
Yes.
I mean, Mahomes, a quarterback is a quarterback until he ain't.
And you just have to tell Henning, just go out there, don't turn it over, just move the offense.
Just do like you
just
did.
do what you did the last game, even though it's going to be a different scenario because the Bengals have beaten them 3 times this year.
Yep.
And they're gonna be coming at him with, double
Kitchen
barrel,
sink.
yeah, everything in the kitchen sink. And I think you're spot on though. I think they should fake like Mahomes is gonna play and start, and then go with Hennings. And if Hennings poops the bed, you can look at Mahomes and say, "Can you go?" and just give it a shot because this is it. You lose, you go home.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Let Henning go out there, see what he can do, and
look, Cincinnati, no joke. We know that, like you said, they've beaten Kansas City 3 times in a row.
Right. Let me ask you
with
this. Go ahead.
Mahomes.
With Mahomes healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. Isn't it like a reoccurring injury though? Hasn't he had ankle injuries?
Like Steph?
Yeah.
It seems like every other month, Steph's got an ankle issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Or every year it seems like Mahomes. I think that one year where he got really twisted, banged up, it just seems like it's never healed.
Yeah,
properly.
I agree. Playing basketball like we did.
Right.
That was my thing. When I got hurt, it was always my ankle.
Right.
It was terrible. So yeah, Mahomes has a big issue with the high ankle sprain. But see, Chad Henne, all he has to do is take a page out of Purdy.
Correct.
Because Purdy, he's got so many playmakers on that team.
Right.
All he has to do is hand the ball off to Mitchell or McCaffrey and get the ball to Kittles, Debo, Ayuk,
McCaffrey.
Right.
And like I was saying, no turnovers.
McKinnon.
Just get the ball to the players. No stupid throws.
Right.
Don't
try to fit stuff in.
Throw it away.
You don't need to.
Right.
With those guys, all you do is listen. Those playmakers that you have make all the money.
Right.
Make them earn it. Give it to.
The only thing that they're missing though is they're missing that yak. How Tyreek used to do.
Yards after the catch.
Yes, you used to get the ball to Tyreek wherever he was, and he would just get those extra yards.
Well, they're getting that with Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, but not as.
No, listen. There's only one Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
of those kind of guys.
But
Adams.
They are getting it with him. But I mean, they're missing that. So when you're missing that, then you have to say, okay, well, we got to go to our B plan.
Yeah,
and that means just move the ball.
Right. So Kansas City took out Jacksonville as expected. So now they face Cincinnati. Cincinnati, who went into Buffalo and totally dominated the Bills. I picked the Bengals.
So did I.
Because I liked the way they ended the season, and I liked how they were playing overall. And I like the fact that Joe Burrow, it doesn't matter where he's at, he's going to ball out.
He's a baller.
I mean, I was watching him intently. When they put the camera on him, I was looking at his face.
Right.
And he was just like, yeah, this is nothing to me.
Let's do this.
I could see it. Listen, the snow was coming down. The weather was bad. It affected Buffalo a lot more than it affected Cincinnati. Now, look, Cincinnati ain't no Miami when it comes to weather.
Right.
Cincinnati gets that same weather. As
right.
a matter of fact, the coldest game ever was in Cincinnati when they played the Chargers.
There you go.
Many years ago. I won't say how many, but it was many. So Cincinnati, they're used to playing in that kind of atmosphere as well, and they just showed out. I mean, Burrow was hitting, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and then
he had so much confidence, and he was so locked in.
Yeah, and then Joe Mixon was running,
and so to counter what you said,
Mm-hmm.
I picked Cincinnati for this reason. The last 2 games that Buffalo has played, I seen that there was some vulnerability, and I seen some areas I was like, okay.
Well, they've had secondary issues all year.
Right. But I'm talking about with Josh Allen. Josh Allen was trying too hard and doing too much, and he was getting turnovers and sputtering, and they pulled out the wins barely against Miami. And then I can't remember the game before that, but they pulled it out. But I was looking at that and I was like, Cincinnati's going to come in there hungry. They're used to cold weather. Buffalo better be on their A game.
Right.
And we seen what happened.
Yeah. I didn't trust Buffalo for for some reason.
Exactly.
I can't really pinpoint why, but I did watch some of the game, of course, when Buffalo went to Cincinnati, and then the Damar Hamlin situation. Cincinnati was ahead in that game. It was only 7-3, but they were driving.
Right.
They were moving the football. So I was thinking they were about to score. They were going to probably score, maybe even get a field goal or whatever. So to me, they seem to have that game in control until that happened. So I figured, well, I don't see any difference just because they're going to be in Buffalo that they can't do the same thing. And they did right off the first drive.
And the running back Mixon, he was gashing them.
Yes.
I mean, and so when they played Miami last week, what's his name?
Savon Ahmed.
He was doing really good. And that was what's keeping the offense rolling. And I said, oh, I see the opportunities here.
Right.
To be beaten at home, So
yeah, so Cincinnati played a great game. Josh Allen didn't have his best outing, but he wasn't terrible.
No.
Yeah. I mean,
no, he didn't stink it up, but
there are some issues there because at the end of the game we saw Stephon Diggs walking around with his hands out, yelling at Josh Allen, so I don't know what's happening there.
Well, you see what he did after the game.
No,
he went into the locker room, packed up all his stuff immediately, and just busted out, just broke out, just left.
Oh yeah, he did say he ran, yelled out, talking about I want to be a Seahawk or something like that. I don't know. DK, I'm coming with you, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish.
Me too,
man. But so that Buffalo's going to have issues to me, probably off season, but their window of opportunity. Josh Allen is still young, so you would think that it's still wide open, right? But come on, there's got to be a time where you got to get over the hump because they could never beat Kansas City, right? In Kansas City. Right. Well, what did Cincinnati do its first time in the playoffs? They went into Kansas City and said, see ya.
Yep.
And got into the Super Bowl. So I don't know why people sleep on Cincinnati and think that they can't go into Kansas City with a healthy or injured Mahomes either way and still win that game. But I think they can.
They can. And this every year. Every year a quarterback plays, they have more and more tape on them. And so the defenses, they get more and more in tune to how he's playing. And Josh, they're watching and they're learning, and it's not going to get easier.
But it works both ways. So for him,
yes,
then he needs to look at tape and find out what he can do to get better.
He's got to correct his trying to overplay.
And it seemed like to me yesterday, he wasn't in a battle with Cincinnati.
No.
To me, he was in a battle with Joe Burrow.
Right.
And that's one thing you can't do.
No.
You can't worry about what the other quarterback or the other running back, whatever, is doing.
Right.
At your position, you need to do what you need to
just
do
go
to
out
get
and
it done.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's how I felt about that. So anyway, so the third game we had Philly and the Giants. And look, folks, this is the third time you're playing. You hear the hype about it's hard to beat a team 3 times. No, it's not.
No,
it is not.
No.
If you're that much better than them, and clearly they are, you can beat them 3, 4, 5, 6. It don't matter how many times you play them. You can whoop them.
That's right.
I mean, come on.
As we saw what happened.
Yes.
It was the most boring. It was the most out of the 4 games, 4 games.
Well, the Giants need to upgrade their wide receiver core in the worst way. I mean, they've probably got the worst set of wide receivers in the playoffs. this season. I mean,
Yeah, he needs weapons. You know,
somebody out there name 2 wide receivers for the Giants. Quick.
Can't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know who their tight end is.
Yeah. See, so the Giants. Look, when you talk about the Giants, 2 names come: Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley.
There we go.
Now Barkley's going to be a free agent,
Right.
so it's going to be hard pressed to keep him because they're going to have to upgrade some stuff, man, for them to.
Just think if he went to the Seahawks.
Well,
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
They wouldn't pay him.
No. And plus, they got Walker, so they're happy with him.
Right.
And they don't have to pay him yet.
They don't.
So there you go.
Yeah, they're happy with what they have. I was just throwing that out.
I know. You just making, being Mike.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Mikey likes it.
Yeah, so that game was a 38-7 blowout for the Eagles. So, we don't really get a good sense of what the Eagles are, honestly. Because
I do.
Okay. But I'm going to say this. The last few weeks that Jalen Hurts was hurt,
right,
the Eagles struggled
right
in the last part of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And against the Giants, they didn't struggle. Jalen Hurts was back, and he played very well. But listen, San Francisco is a whole different entity than the New York Giants.
Oh, yeah.
San Francisco has a varsity defense.
Number one.
They're not JV anywhere.
Mm-mm.
They've got all pros in about 3 different positions on the defense,
right,
which is ridiculous.
Right.
They got 2 all-pro linebackers and all-pro cornerback. I mean, defensive lineman is. Come on. Now, are they invincible? No. Dallas played a very good game against them.
That's right.
We're going to switch to Dallas now because Giants, Eagles, come on.
Yeah. Not much to talk about.
No, not a whole lot. But so anyway, the Niners and the Cowboys.
That was a battle.
It was a tough battle. And that battle was the defense was good.
Mm-hmm. Both
and also showed me something, and I'm going to address that after when we go on after our break.
Okay.
But they both struggled offensively, but the good thing is for San Francisco, they didn't turn the ball over.
Right.
And what I mentioned earlier, folks, if you just tuned in, we're talking about the NFL playoffs here on LidLine Sports on Rainier Avenue Radio.com. So Purdy, just all he had, man, I can't say this enough. All he has to do is sit back, give it to McCaffrey, give it to Elijah Mitchell, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, whoever else is out there, Jerick McKinnon, and watch him. He doesn't have to bring them back from adversity because they're not down 10, 15, 2 scores, whatever.
Nope.
They don't have that issue.
He doesn't have to overplay.
It would be nice to see what he can do if they're down 24-10. Right. And I would like to see that because that will tell you how good of a quarterback he is. Because if you've noticed on Jimmy Garoppolo, good quarterback, but whenever San Francisco got behind, he could never bring them back.
The pressure was too much for him. Can I ask you a question? Do you think it was because of San Francisco's defense or was it Dak's lack of offense? Meaning Dak and Ezekiel, they really didn't do anything. And then it didn't help. Was that because of the defense or was that just because?
Well, it's definitely defense, but CeeDee Lamb was getting open.
He was.
CeeDee Lamb was getting open and he wasn't getting him the ball. Michael Gallup dropped a pass.
Yes.
That he probably should, if you're an elite wide receiver, you make that catch.
Right.
Dalton Schultz, late in the game. How you not get 2 feet in, man? It's stuff like that.
Right.
You can't blame Dak for.
No, I'm not
But
blaming
Dak
him.
has his issues.
I was just
because
asking.
he threw 2 picks.
Right.
You can't turn the ball over.
No.
When you get this deep in the playoffs, turnovers will kill you.
Right. Especially when it's a defensive battle game and it's so close.
Right.
Those are very, very crucial. And Purdy hasn't done that. He throws it away or he gets sacked. or
Yeah. Now he did get some pressure,
right,
and I was glad to see that he was okay. I mean, okay, he got sacked a couple of times, but he didn't panic. But we're gonna take a break real quick. When we come back, we're gonna talk more about the NFL playoffs, and then I'm gonna tell you why the defense that San Francisco and Dallas both played is light years ahead of the Seahawks. Don't go away.
I'm Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not hearing men compare women to residential real estate, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Support for Rainier Avenue Radio comes from KCTS9 and Crosscut, presenting the Explore the Outdoors Family Fair on January 28th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Rainier Arts Center. Local community groups will provide activities for all ages to make the outdoors more inclusive and encourage a new generation to get outside. More information about Explore the Outdoors Family Fair can be reached at crosscut.com/events.
The beat of the Fox with nastiness is back on K-Fox Night Beat.
Yo, what's the deal? It's the legendary Hall of Fame DJ Mixmaster Ice from UTFO.
What's up? Who you thought this is? This is Sir Mix-a-Lot.
And this is Terry Lewis.
And I'm Grand Mixer GMS.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ Third Degree.
This is JJ Hudson from the High Children family.
Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's K-Fox Night Beat with DJ Nastiness.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music. Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
That's not noise.
Peace. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. What is generational wealth? We asked our communities.
And this is what they had to say.
Generational wealth is incredibly difficult to accrue. My mom likes to joke that we come from a long line of people who are bad at money. She always talks about wanting to buy a house so that she has something to leave her kids. I got really sick when I was a kid, and all our money went towards that. I had to leave college because I couldn't afford my next year's tuition, medical bills, and life. It's all so difficult. And then you think about wanting to leave something behind for your kids. Well, how can you leave something behind for your kids when every day you're trying to make sure that your kids have joy and happiness and health and fulfillment today? Every day I'm really concerned about if I'll be able to keep living and making art in this city for myself.
This campaign to create awareness to generational wealth is brought to you by the Department of Neighborhood's Generational Wealth Initiative, the Washington Housing Finance Commission, and Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
This is Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Welcome back, friends. This is LidLine Sports on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Do you like high school basketball? I know a lot of folks out here love to listen to high school basketball. This Thursday, Rainier Avenue Radio will be broadcasting the Eastside Catholic versus O'Day at 7:30 p.m. So please, you want to tune in to that. That should be a good game.
Oh, it will be.
And this Saturday at 8 p.m., Rainier Beach versus Garfield, which is always a hot battle at Seattle Pacific University. And that one is at 8 p.m. So please listen to Thursday night, 7:30, Eastside Catholic and O'Day. Saturday at 8 p.m., Rainier Beach and Garfield at SPU. And then tonight, after our show, we got a new show, folks. Rizal Park Jazz Radio Seattle with host Tess Corzon will be broadcasting at 8 p.m. right after our show. So please don't go away after we go off. Please give that a listen. I'm sure it's going to be great. So we were talking about the NFL playoffs, and we were on the San Francisco 49er Dallas game, which the Niners won 19-12. Dak Prescott said something after the game, MC. Can you enlighten me, please?
In pure form, he sounded just like a Dallas Cowboy fan. I promise you, we will win a divisional round game next year. Isn't that becoming the same old broken record? Next year.
Well, you remember last year how they lost, right? They lost to San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I just, whatever. Okay. But what else is he going to say, right? I mean, he's got to give encouragement and
I wouldn't make promises you can't keep.
Well, you're not wrong.
I mean, I agree with some of the comments he said. I stunk it up. I got to play better. Yada yada yada. I won't have as many interceptions next year. Yada yada yada. But don't make a promise you can't keep and say we're going to win a divisional. They might not even make it to the playoffs next year.
Hello, but they probably will.
Yeah, they probably will. But I'm just saying, you never know.
Yeah, true that. But continue on this game real quick. I did mention before the break that I wanted to tell you how my thoughts were about how far apart the Seattle Seahawks are on defense compared to the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. And it's light years, because what the Seahawks have on defense is the JV, and I mentioned this before, and those other two are the varsity, and that's a big difference. And, so the big thing in the draft now, of course, is where Seattle stands at number 5. And what are they going to do? A lot of people are saying they're going to trade down. Even John Schneider gave hints of that on his show with Seattle Sports last week with Wyman and Bob. And I listened to that, and I was like, oh, God,
Here we go.
Oh, God, no. Folks, friends, family, listen to me, please. The Seahawks need to stay exactly where they are at number 5. There is a good chance they can still get Jalen Carter. They probably won't get Will Anderson. They can get Jalen Carter because of the needs of the other teams ahead of them. But the problem is it's people that are below them that want to trade up is what you have to worry about.
Right.
I get that. But if it stands right now, the Seahawks have a good shot to get Jalen Carter or Miles Murphy from Clemson.
Correct.
And that's what you need. You need studs. I don't want to hear people telling me or talking about we need to get a quarterback. What good is their quarterback if your defense can't get off the field and he's standing on the sidelines for 3/4 of the game?
Bam.
It makes no sense.
None at all.
You need to get off the field.
Let me make another point real
Absolutely.
quick. So you just robbed Denver Broncos by giving them Russell Wilson and getting these picks, right? And a couple players, correct?
Absolutely.
You got the biggest heist in the NFL. If you trade down those picks, you went from the biggest major heist to a smash and grab, and all you got was a carton of cigarettes.
Whoo, man.
And I mean that sincerely, because lacking is their defense. Their offense did good this year, but their defense was the quarterbacks were every game you would text me, the opposing quarterbacks was looking at their tender, swiping left, swiping right, ordering their food, and then they would throw it to whoever they wanted to.
Yes.
Every game.
And that guy was wide open.
But
look, it ain't the secondary's fault. Our secondary played great.
They did.
I don't recall anybody throwing over 400 and 500 yards,
but
like the year before.
My point is that
I know your point. I get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because my point is it has nothing to do with the secondary.
Oh, I know.
If you put no pressure on any NFL quarterback, he'll pick you apart,
bro.
He'll go through every progression and and then go back and it's okay. He's open now.
Well, case in point, Brock Purdy.
Yes, exactly. And so they need to get an edge rusher and somebody who can help stop the run. And then if you get some picks way down the line, for secondary help, if somebody gets injured, that's cool. But I wouldn't even emphasize the quarterback right now.
No.
And trading down, what are you going to trade down to?
Well, I'm going to say that. Here's the deal. I'm going to be devil's advocate. You trade down only if you're going to get a stud impact vet in return, right?
From the team that you're trading down to. Okay.
So if that team calls you up and say, "Hey, I want your spot," well, you look at that team and say, "Well, you ain't got nobody that I want."
Right.
See ya. Hang up the phone.
Exactly.
Don't even entertain.
Right.
You could be rude.
Right.
Because you got the spot.
Yeah. You got the power.
But if San Francisco calls, then they're not going to call.
No.
Okay, because they're in their own division. I
Right,
get that.
right.
But let's just for fun's sake, let's say that they say, hey, man, I'll give you Fred Warner and our pick and whatever, blah, blah, you know.
Would you say, what if the Steelers called and said, we'll give you TJ Watt, not just, sorry, thank you.
Yes.
TJ Watt.
Yes.
We'll give you TJ Watt.
Yes.
And we want that number 5 pick.
Yes.
But I'm just saying that's
Watt.
your point. That's your point you're making.
Exactly.
If you can get a player of that impact player like
Absolutely.
that, you know, you do it, you know.
Then you can get your quarterback at number 20 or whatever Pittsburgh's in as well.
Right.
You know,
because impact players like that, you know what they do besides playing very, very well?
Mm-hmm.
They help the other players. They uplift the other players because players
they change that locker room.
In any sport, when you have a player that's killing it, the other players feed off of that.
Absolutely.
And so when you have a defensive player with a high motor, such impact, and they're in there killing, I'll give you an example. The 49ers, when Bosa is dominating, all those other defensive players, you know, they got a lot, but they feed off of that.
Yeah,
they're like sharks. They're like sharks in the water. They're like, he's doing it, we're gonna do it. But you know, the Seahawks, they got guppies. They don't have sharks yet.
Yeah,
so.
But the Seahawks need major changes in the front seven.
Yes.
Poona Ford, see you later. Yeah.
What's the linebacker's name?
Barton, Cody Barton.
He's got to go.
Well, he can't be your starter.
No,
that's the thing.
Right. Well, yeah, he's a good fill-in. Yeah.
Right.
But as far as your starter,
he can't be starting alongside Jordan Brooks.
Would you entertain bringing Wagner back?
Yes. If
like
he wants to come back, I would.
I like it
because it makes sense. Because
still playing it with a high motor.
You can still solidify what you got.
Right.
And then plus, you know, you could, but I would still suggest you draft a guy like at number 20.
Right.
The best linebacker available.
I agree.
So if you brought Wagner back, then he could be under his tutelage.
Right.
And that could be very well. And people were saying, oh, but we got Jordan Brooks. He did great. Yeah, he did. He was second in tackles.
Right.
Okay. But how many of those tackles were tackles for loss?
Right.
How many TFLs did he have? That's what I would look at.
Right.
You know, and is he making TFLs, or is he making tackles at the line of scrimmage, or is he making tackles because the running back or the tight end or the wide receiver are 8 yards down the field already?
How many turnovers did he cause? You know, how many change of possessions did he cause?
Right.
Those are huge.
Absolutely. So I'm not hating on him.
No,
please,
not at all.
But people are going overboard in how good he is.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
Numbers do lie at times.
They do.
So, man, but I'm hoping that the Seahawks do not trade the pick and keep their pick at number 20. And they still got high-end second round picks too.
Right. I say keep the first 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
And then unless you, like you said, if you can get a high impact veteran,
mm-hmm.
then you do the deal that you need. But if you can't, then you keep the picks. And then down the line, if there's going to be teams that want to trade up to those picks too.
Right.
And if you can get some for those, then I'm not gonna grovel about it, but
right.
I'm not gonna like it 100%.
Yeah.
Because I say get the cream of the crop while you can.
Absolutely.
Because you don't get this every year or every other year when you have this many.
You nailed it. You nailed it. And plus, you know, the fact that people are always saying, well, they always trade down. Well, they always traded down, folks, because they were always in the mid-20s in the draft.
Right.
And you can get talent at that position further down and plus get more.
Right.
So that's why they did that.
Right.
When you're in the top 10, top 5, trading down, man, I'm telling you, if you're going to trade down, it's because somebody is offering a package that you can't refuse.
Exactly. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So people are just saying nonchalantly, oh, they're going to trade down. No, they're not.
Right.
Unless they're offered something that they just got to have.
Right.
So, you know, wow.
How much do you pay Geno?
You're going to have to give him market value if you're going to keep him.
Which is
30.
Okay.
You're going to have to give it to him. I mean,
1, 2, 3 years.
No more than 3.
Right.
Because he's not going to take less. He's not going to take 2.
I say
he probably wants 4,
right,
but I would stop at 3.
I say give him $25 million for 3 years with 50 guaranteed. That's $75 million with incentives, and you're not hurting the bank.
I like it.
And if anything more,
I don't think he's going to go for it, but I like it.
I don't either. But if he's not, then you let him test the waters.
Absolutely. Look, the Seahawks have proven they can develop quarterbacks.
Right.
They developed Russ.
Right.
Because when he came in as a rookie, he was raw.
Exactly.
Right? And they saw the skill set that he had, and they used it for their benefit.
Exactly.
Geno, he's been here 4 years. He did nothing with other teams. He came in here. He filled in, did a great job this year.
Right.
Okay. So quarterback development really is not an issue. So why do I say that? Because they still got Drew Lock, and people are rolling your eyes. Oh, Drew Lock. Well, you rolled your eyes when people were talking about Geno Smith last year.
Exactly.
So, all right, unroll those eyes.
Right.
And listen, Drew Lock played well and was a standout in practice from what I heard, and he gave Geno everything he had.
Right.
This was not a clear-cut decision as much as you think it was. It was clear-cut for the fact that Geno was here and he had been here and he knows the system.
Right.
And they trusted him and they wanted him. But Drew Lock gave them some doubts. Now, in the preseason, Drew Lock got sick. And then when he came back, he threw a couple of picks, and that kind of solidified Geno's spot. But let me tell you, if they decide to let Geno walk and say, okay, Drew, you're next, I'm not going to be upset about it. I'll be okay with it.
If they let him walk, do you think another team will pay him 30?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? There's teams out there that need quarterbacks so bad, they will pay him. Absolutely.
But will he? You know the old saying, the grass is not always greener on the other side.
It is not.
And meaning you go
on your system.
You go to another team and you get your money, but
well, we know.
Yeah.
Denver.
Case in point.
But listen, Russ isn't the only situation that's happened.
No.
So let's not just beat him up. I won't just beat him up.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, man, look, let's get into some NBA
real
quick. Going to OT is Otis's segment, but we're gonna steal it for today.
Yes.
Man, did you see what am I saying here?
The blowout? I mean the where the Blazers.
Yes.
Not the blowout, but the blow down, or however you want to put it. I couldn't believe that. It's just phenomenal. I was like, oh my God, how can this happen?
They had
Are the Lakers playing that well?
Lakers got outscored 45-13 in the second quarter of the Blazers game the other night. And then in the third quarter after halftime, the Lakers outscored the Blazers 40-20 and then outscored them again by double figures in the fourth quarter to beat them by 9. I mean, you outscore a team in a quarter by 32 points and you lose the game. Come on now.
That was crazy. Hey, but LeBron James, 30, he was killing it, and and a couple of other players stepped it up.
And the Lakers made a trade today.
Yes,
with the Wizards, they traded Kendrick Nunn, 3 second-round picks to the Washington Wizards for Rui Hachimura, ex-Gonzaga Bulldog, who had been, I guess, on the outs at Washington. Because I've noticed lately that he had been getting slim playing time for whatever. So I knew something was going on because the guy can ball. He can play.
He's a baller.
I know sometime last month he had 30, 40 points, something like that. So, he can get you 15 and 12, on any given night.
I think that's a huge pickup for him because he's big. He can score, but he can also, get your rebounds and clog it up in the middle if he needs to.
And let's be honest, any young player that gets traded to the Lakers, that's where they want to be.
Exactly.
I mean,
showtime.
It don't matter what the Lakers' record is,
right?
Barring being 9-73, like Philly was years and years ago. People want to play for the Lakers.
That's right.
And you could be upset about that all you want, but that's the truth.
It is. It is.
The only people that don't want to play for the Lakers that are people that played for the Celtics.
Right.
They don't want nothing to do with the Lakers and vice versa. But people like Rondo and Dennis Schroeder had no problem because they played for both teams. So,
right.
Even that's kind of diminishing. But I know back in the day, Bird wouldn't even think of putting on a Laker uniform, a hat, or anything. Are you kidding me?
And Magic wouldn't think about putting on a Celtics uniform.
Right. Absolutely. So,
but what was I gonna not off the topic of the Lakers?
Thank you.
Did you hear about Michael Porter Jr.'s brother?
Yes.
That's sad. That's real sad. And
can you fill us in, brother?
Coban Porter is his name. Coban.
Yeah, I'm
Porter.
not sure.
He was arrested on suspicion of vehicular homicide and reckless driving.
Oh my gosh!
And one of the persons in the other car died.
Well, yeah.
And so, I think Michael was so devastated. Michael Porter Jr. so devastated that he couldn't even play because he was supposed to play.
No, absolutely. Listen, this is life, man.
Right.
I mean,
and that's his little brother.
Yeah.
And so, and you know, he's very remorseful and very sick to his stomach. But we say it all the time. These guys get up there and they're wherever they're doing, whether they're in the G League or in the pros. And if you're drinking, you got money to get a ride, Uber, Lyft. Why take the chance? And this is a prime example of I know a guy that I grew up with that was a good friend of mine that did the same thing, and he was an NFL player, but you know, it ruined his career. He played for the Denver Broncos. He played for UW. So
yeah,
you know.
I've lost two good friends when I was in the Navy for drinking and driving and acting a fool, and
they were killed in a
yes.
Oh,
and
man.
as a matter of fact, I talked to my man before. I said, listen, man, you got to chill with that,
Right.
And then I left that place, and then about a month later, I get a phone call that he was gone. And what happened? I was like, oh my God.
So it can happen to the simplest of the simples.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
it's just
Yes,
it's no reason to take the chance and risk your life or somebody else's.
You're right.
But that's just a sad situation. I just wanted to interject that. So
who's your tops for NBA right now?
I'm like in Denver right now. I mean,
In the West?
Yeah, in the West. I kind of I don't really watch the regular season a lot. Like
I don't.
Like Otis, he's a faithful.
God bless him.
Yes, he's on it, and he gives us all the information that we need.
Heck yeah.
I watch some of the games here and there, depending on who's playing and where they're playing. But I like Denver, and the East. I like the Celtics.
Okay.
I mean, that's who I like right now.
Mhm.
It could change. But
Absolutely.
To me,
Yes, sir.
to me, Tatum right now is just bananas. And
they're winning without him because
Right.
they won at Toronto 2 nights ago.
Right.
Without him.
Right.
And it's funny because they beat the Raptors 106-104 a couple of nights ago, and then the Knicks came into Toronto the next night and got blown out.
Right. And Luka's been killing with the Mavs, but that's typical, that he's doing this thing. But what about
Hold on.
Oh.
Let's get back to Luka.
Okay.
Luka's great.
Right.
But is he making his team better? They seem to be
No.
every year they seem to be in the same position.
Right.
Around 500.
Right.
They get rid of Porzingis.
Yep.
They bring in Dinwiddie, a couple other guys. They got Christian Wood,
Great point.
and they're still mediocre.
Exactly. I agree.
What is the value of being such a great player, but your team's still run of the mill?
That's a great point, because I think he's such a diva, and his mentality with the Mavs right now
Mhm.
is that there's a lot of good players that don't even want to entertain playing with them, because he's taking all the. What does he do? He dribbles, shoots, or he gets mad if they don't pass it to him. That diva-ish ball.
Yes.
And
we all know guys like that. You and I play ball,
and
so
I'm not taking that away from him.
We know how guys like that are.
Yes, we do.
You be at, excuse me. You be at
Wide open.
You be at Mercer playing ball. And next thing you know, some dude all huffing and puffing because you didn't give him the ball.
Right,
bro. You can't shoot.
Right. Yeah. So I agree. You hit the nail on the head with Luka.
Yeah.
But what about? Let me ask you this. What about Trey Murphy?
Trey Young?
No. Trey Murphy for oh my God, Trey Murphy III.
Who's that?
He's playing with the Pelicans.
I don't know him. What?
Oh my God.
What's wrong with me?
This boy, he should be in the dunk contest. He's got hops. He's not really super killing it, but I like him, man. I'm liking the Pelicans right now,
And
too.
it seemed like Zion's out again.
Yeah, but this guy, I've watched some games and some highlights. He's dunking just with ease.
Man.
So I just wanted to throw that in there because you asked me who I like, and so I'm kind of liking the Pelicans coming up, and you know, I know Otis would like me to say the Suns, but I'm not really seeing them doing a lot.
Well, they've been playing better,
so but they got some key players I think that are out too.
But I think Ayton's gone. Trade deadline, isn't he? I think
you
he's
think
gone.
so?
Yeah, I think he's gone. But look, let me ask you this.
Okay.
You're at an NBA game.
Yes.
Sitting courtside. Do you think you're allowed to say anything you want because you paid for those seats and you can just
within reason?
Oh,
within reason.
So you heard about Shannon Sharp, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can say which in reason, and I say that strongly. You can't demean a player's family, his kids. There's certain things you can and certain things you can't do. If he's stinking it up, yeah, I'm gonna yell and say, "Man, you stinking it up. Pass the ball.
Yes,
play defense. You can't make a shot.
Right.
Or if they missing consecutive free throws, and you say, man, you can't make a free throw if they paid you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely think that's fine.
There's a fine line in that. But now when you're cursing and
vulgarities, just no.
Yeah, and then you're arguing with a player's father or mother that's you're going over the line.
Definitely crossing the line. But he did apologize for it. Kudos to Shannon for that. People think that a lot of people were saying that it was staged, but what would be the purpose?
I don't put all the emphasis on Shannon though, because what he said, it had some merit, but the other players intervened.
Well, Dylan Brooks, John Moran,
right. And so Shannon Sharp's he's from the country. You just can't say anything to him.
Yeah.
But he has to say he's a professional in the announcer and analyst, and he has to take the high road.
Yes.
And not let them get to him like that. So but it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's
because you might get Latrell Sprewell if you open your mouth and say something wrong.
But celebrities, please, if you're gonna be sitting courtside and
yes,
and enjoying the game, enjoy the game.
Right.
Don't be part of the action where
Right.
you have no business being.
Right.
Really, we don't need that.
If you can't lace them up and get out there and do better,
right?
Then
In
shut
that
up.
particular sport. Now look,
No, that's what I mean.
You're a Hall of Famer in football, but this ain't football, bro.
That's what I mean. If you can't put on them tennis shoes and shorts and the tank top and get out there and ball with them,
That's right.
then shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be blunt.
No,
and I'm not gonna say that to his face, but
Heck no.
on the radio station, I'll say that.
Hey, listen, man. Oh man. Oh, that would be so
And then
funny.
I'll run to my car after the show.
But I tell people, look, I'm not in fighting shape.
Right.
I'm in running away shape.
Oh, I can't even run, man. So,
Yeah, people look at me and say, "Oh, you're in pretty good shape." Yeah, I can run away. I ain't trying to roll on the floor with nobody. Not at this age.
I'm real good at talking my way out of it.
Now, if it's a family member, yeah, I might have to put them on the ground. Yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
anybody else,
I agree.
Yeah, but anybody else, no, I'm not messing with you.
No.
Oh man, so man, thanks everybody for listening. I had a wonderful time. We were talking about the NFL playoffs. We talked about the Kraken. We talked about Stewie. What do you think? Oh, let's get back to Stewie for a hot minute.
Okay.
Do you think she's leaving?
I hope not. I hope this is just
No. Do you think she's leaving?
If they don't get the key players, she will leave.
Bro, I think she's
she's got one foot in the door and one foot out.
Yes, because I think the New York Liberty are building something over there. They just traded for Jonquel Jones from Connecticut.
Right.
They gave away Natasha, an ex-Storm.
Only reason I say she's got one foot in, one foot out is because
she's loyal.
And she's loyal, but her wife,
Sue Bird. No, that's not her wife.
No, her wife loves it here. They have a young child.
Okay.
And I don't think she wants to uproot them. And so, but hey, if somebody offers her something better and stability,
Right.
a team that says, hey, look, we got these key pieces, we need you to fill it in,
Right.
and they're giving the right price is right, then she probably will go.
Yeah,
and if she
when
goes, you know what happens.
Yes. When I jumped in with Sue Bird, I was thinking of the legacy of the Storm.
Right.
When you have a legacy player like Sue Bird and
You're gonna get Sue Bird in trouble, man.
Lauren Jackson. Oh my God. No. But anyway, hey, we're out of time. And I want to thank everybody for listening to LidLine Sports here on Rainier Avenue Radio.com. On behalf of my man, the producer extraordinaire, D-Nice, Daniel Bellis, and my man, MC, Mr. Michael Carter. Thank you. God bless. See you next week.